Becky Dowd, and this is The Journey to Salvation. Join me as we walk alongside real people and hear the unique journeys that led them to faith in Jesus. Today, my guest is Hannah Shipp. Hello, Hannah.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. Thank you for coming in today on your day off, right? Is this your day off?
No, we don't really get Fridays off, but it's usually not as crazy, yeah.
Okay, good. So, Hannah, I don't know you real well. I see you every Sunday as you come through the door carrying different kids.
Yeah.
And then you shared your story a little bit Sunday morning a few weeks ago. And so I just was really interested in hearing more about your story. So can you just give us some information about your upbringing and growing up?
Sure. So I'm actually not from Arkansas.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. I grew up and was raised in North Carolina. So I'm from a small town in North Carolina. It's near Boone, North Carolina. So I grew up in the mountains and
what a different
yeah, for sure.
Here.
Yes, I like it here, but I for sure miss the mountains and all that, the outdoor stuff that brings.
Yeah.
But I had a good upbringing. I was raised in church. I have an older brother and then my two parents. I was raised different than what I am now in a way. I was raised fundamental independent Baptist, so we were very not strict, but, like I grew up wearing skirts and going to church. I was homeschooled for a little bit. But overall, a good childhood. I accepted Christ as my Savior when I was 9. So I knew him early on, and that was a huge part of my life. And like I said, I was homeschooled for a bit, and then I really loved sports growing up, like all sports. And in North Carolina, where I was from, you couldn't play sports and play for the public school and be homeschooled. Mm-hmm. So I think it was around 7th grade, I went to public school and because I wanted to play sports. And so in high school, my freshman year, my mom got diagnosed with cancer. And that was a huge life-altering thing, I guess you could say, just because it meant a lot. It was a lot going on and chaotic at times. But my parents honestly kind of shielded me and my brother from it.
Because that's a hard age to get that kind of
yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she did treatments and had surgery and was in remission. So I guess she battled with it for about a year. And then they said that she was cancer-free. And then my brother is older than me, so he went to college in North Carolina. So he moved away and went to college, so it was just me home. And then my dad decided he was going to go he was a contractor my whole life and decided he was going to go work for Samaritan's Purse. I don't know if you've heard of that, but yeah, they're the people that do like Operation Christmas Child. So he decided he was going to go to Haiti. So he ended up leaving and was gone for a year to Haiti.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which was also a change in our family dynamic because then it was just me and my mom at home. But looking back, that was a change, but it was God's mercy, truly, because it was just me and my mom for that year and we got super close. Not that I wasn't close to her in childhood, but that dynamic just changes. You depend on each other and it's just you, so your relationship changes. Then after, I guess about 6 months, she was diagnosed with cancer again, and it was more aggressive. And so she did treatments for not very long, honestly. I think she did 1 round of treatment, and then she went to the hospital and then passed away. So my dad came back from Haiti, and she was super sick, and my brother came home from college and she was super sick, and it was quick. Like, again, that's another one of God's mercies. Like, it was super quick from getting diagnosed again to when she passed away. So, then the dynamic changed again, I guess you could say, because she was gone and I was finishing up high school, and I actually ended up changing high school my senior year because I was big into sports and big into basketball. And So I changed high schools, and then it was just me and my dad at home. And he was, I mean, we all were, but he was definitely grieving and hurting. And so that was a big change. And I kind of just did my own thing in a way, kind of just survived the end of my high school, and sports helped a lot. And obviously we're still very involved in church. So people in church came and kind of put me under their wing and helped me along, because my dad was, like I said, he was grieving, so he wasn't, but wasn't super present, obviously for his own reasons, and it's understandable, Right. So I had a basketball scholarship to play in Tennessee at a small school, and then I decided I didn't want to be that close to home, and so I had another scholarship to go play basketball in Florida. So I graduated high school and moved to Florida, and it was a Christian school, a small Christian school.
What part of Florida was it?
Pensacola, yeah. So I went from the mountains to the beach, which was a cool change, honestly. And I grew up, we traveled, but I never, thought that I would make a huge move. But I think I was just ready for my own thing. And there wasn't really anything back home anymore, because my brother wasn't there. And obviously my mom was passed away. So I was kind of ready for a big change. So went to college in Florida and really enjoyed that. Loved playing basketball, made a lot of friends, had a great experience. Honestly, I think basketball was a huge, not a distraction, I guess you could say, but almost like a coping mechanism. I could really just pour all my energy into it and focus on being the best I could be in a certain area, and kind of drive all my emotions towards that, I guess. And then I don't know if it was my junior or senior year of college, I read a book. It's called Kisses from Katie, and it's Katie Davis Major's story, where she I think she was 19. I haven't read it in a minute, but she was 19 and moved to Uganda, Africa, started an orphanage there at Samazima. I don't know if I said that right, but ministries. And that just really impacted me. I didn't grow up around foster care, or we were I knew missionaries, but that just wasn't a huge part of my world, was orphans and things like that. I grew in a small community that was close knit, and everyone there, it was like generations, so really, even if there was a kid that came into care or had troubles, you wouldn't know about it because a grandma would just step in or something like that. So again, it wasn't a part, but I read that story and I really thought that I would become a missionary, that I would move to Africa. And my degree was in criminal justice, and I wanted to work with human trafficking victims. That was what I wanted to do. And I didn't really know what exactly that would look like, but knew that, again, I thought I would just move abroad and be a missionary. So I graduated college and didn't really know what I wanted to do for my next step. I had applied with an agency, the International Justice Mission, thought maybe that would lead me in the direction I kind of wanted to go, but didn't really want to go back home. And so literally was weeks away from graduating with no plan of what, knew I would have to move out of the dorms, but had no idea where to go. And
that's probably not uncommon for a college student.
No, no, I wasn't.
I had no idea what my next
right. Like now I look at it, I'm like, oh my word, I probably should have been more concerned, but I really wasn't. But, so I had a friend who, had graduated a year before me. So she was already working as a teacher in Forest City, Arkansas, and at a small Christian school there. And I had obviously kept in touch with her. And she's like, hey, if you want to, you can come here and coach and teach. My minor was history. So she's like, you can come here and teach history, coach basketball, maybe volleyball, to just kind of get your feet wet and figure out what you want to do. See if you hear something from the International Justice Mission. And And she said, you can room with me so we could split all the bills, which is for sure a plus for a college student coming out.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so anyway, so I got that job. And so the year after college, came to Forest City, taught for a year, coached volleyball, basketball. And I enjoyed that, but I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so, again, I was kind of in that spot again of like, okay, I don't want to move back home. I don't want to continue to stay here doing something that I don't feel like I'm supposed to do. And obviously through all this, I was talking to God about it and praying about it. But I think, and I don't mean to jump back to where high school, but I think my relationship with the Lord grew through all the changes, especially in that year and a half span of just loss after loss, it felt like, and just having to depend on the Lord. I remember driving, the route to my high school was about an hour, and I would just pray, and that it just became a sweet time with the Lord, like just honestly pouring it all out, because I couldn't really talk to my dad about it. Again, my dad was a great dad, but I didn't want to put more on him when he's going through his own grief. And so really, I guess God during that time really became a father and a friend. And so, and then my relationship kind of shifted as I kind of then started relying on my own self, because things were going well and I was doing well in sports and whatever. So anyway, so now I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's next after teaching for a year and going back, like, okay, I need to go back to that dependency on God. Like I kind of shifted away from it a little bit, and didn't have that mentality of like, I have nothing else but you, God. I wasn't really there, but then at the next step, I was like, okay, I've got to rely on you again. And that shift of like, no, I don't need to be taking this seesaw approach where it's like, I'm really all in for him and relying on him when things are unsteady, but then when things are on my own strength, I don't. Like, it was kind of that realization at that point that I really got to focus my relationship on him and relying on him and giving it over to him again. So that was a cool summer. So obviously I was teaching, so we had the summer off and wasn't really sure. So I did go back home for that summer and was just trying to pray and figure out what I was going to do. And that same friend, her name's Sarah, but that same friend that I roomed with that taught in Forest City with me, she was going to move to Florida, back to Pensacola, Florida, to get her teaching license. There were some things that she needed to be able to teach in a public school versus a Christian school. And so she was like, hey, I have a friend that I taught with in Forest City. She moved to Florida a couple years ago. She said I could come stay with her while I get my teaching license, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you come too. Had no idea really who this person was, and was like, well, okay, whatever. That sounds good to me. I'm trying to still figure things out. And it ended up being Jamie Tecito. And so me and my roommate, Sarah, crashed with her. And at that time, she only had Max and Polly. So I'm walking in to their home one night. Like, I literally packed up everything I owned and put it in my little Toyota Corolla and drove from North Carolina to Florida, which is about a 14-hour trip.
Oh, wow.
To stay with someone I'd never met before, just off the word of my college friends.
Yeah.
So didn't have a job lined up, like had no idea what the next step was going to be, but just knew like, okay, I'm just going to trust God with it. And had no idea how that one move, this 14-hour drive, would drastically change my life. But, so.
And what better person than Jamie to be on the other end?
Oh, 100%. Like, it's crazy. So, I ended up, we stayed with her. I don't remember how long it was, maybe like 2 months. And in that time, I'm obviously looking for a job and interviewing, and like, I'm trying to just get a job at that point. Like, had some savings, but it was like, I've got to have income. And so I applied everywhere. Like, seriously, I applied at grocery stores, fast food restaurants, was like, I just need something. And I could not get a job. Like, everyone's like, you're just too experienced. And I'm like, I'm really not. Like, I do have a college education, but it doesn't matter. I just need a job. And everyone's like, no, like, you're too experienced. And I was like, what is that? Like, what is that answer? But it was cool because then I applied for a job. It was with Healthy Families. And it is basically, it's social work, and it's, they run a program, it's nationwide, and they work with mothers. It's expecting mothers up to mothers with children at the age of 5 who are at risk to abuse and neglect their children. So it's home visits, and you go in and really try to help them, build a bond with their child to help prevent, abuse or neglect. And
that's a neat program.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like, honestly, it taught me so much. And so there's like risk factors. So they sign up for this program, and it's free to them. And it's like a scoring sheet. So they score things like their income, their family history, their drug use, like things that would put them at risk.
Right.
And so I got a job with them, which was crazy because it paid well. It was right up the alley of kind of where I wanted to go. And so it was really cool for those couple months. It wasn't a couple months, but maybe 3 weeks that I was really kind of sweating it. Like, man, I can't get a job anywhere. And I remember there was one night, I don't know if she even remembers or not, but at Jamie's house where I'm just sitting in my room, like, really like, okay, do I pack up everything and just go back home? Because nothing seems to be working here. And I remember praying, and Jamie walked in and was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, you're fine here. Like, however long it takes, you're fine.
Yeah.
And that was just super, like, I didn't know her. I'm invading her space. She doesn't know me. And, but then I ended up getting that job, which was a huge thing for me. Like, I met great people. It was awesome experience. We went in some of the worst neighborhoods in Pensacola. Like, I remember some neighborhoods going in, and they had just had a shooting, and like things would be on lockdown. And I had ladies, mothers, be like, I'm walking you to your car. Like, you're not. Oh, wow. I had a few incidents that were quite scary, but it taught me so much. And in that whole time, like, just thanking God for providing for me, like, that even in the uncertainty, like, he was making a way, even in the uncertainty, in the times where I was like, man, why can't I get a job? Like, it can't be this hard. He was making a way, you know, like, to be exactly what I needed and wanted and what would help me in my future. Yeah. So I did that. I worked for Healthy Families as a family service worker for a while, and then I actually ended up becoming a supervisor, and did that for, I want to say it was 3 years. I'm really not good at time frames. Obviously, I probably should have looked that up before I came, but I think I was there for about 3 years. And again, just a super great experience. And so in that time, I got to know Jamie better. Like, me and Sarah, my roommate, would babysit for Max and Polly and hang out with them. And then she decided she was going to foster. And we were me and Sarah were just kind of like, okay, like, we had really no frame of reference for that. So she ended up taking on Ray and Drew. And so me and Sarah were kind of her, what we call now, like, foster family support, but it didn't have a name back then. We were just two fresh, new, starting life. And she would feed us. And so we offered to babysit, and it just kind of worked out that way. And, again, didn't really understand at that time what she would be in my life personally, but God did. And, so, she kept taking on kids, and we would be apart. And I just felt God moving in my life, like, okay, is this something that is going to be in my future? I wasn't really in a position to take it on at that point in my life, but even going back to that, that book, Kisses from Katie, and how she took on orphans, I was like, okay, is this that where that spark in me was kind of lit? Is this the realm you want me to take? And I remember one night driving actually back from Jamie's house. I'm sure we went over there to eat or something. And there's this really long bridge. I think it's like a mile long bridge or longer. and praying to God about it. And, was like, I felt God leading me to be like, you've got to get to know this woman. Like, I kind of had walls up. I mean, we hung out with her and babysit, but I didn't really go deep with Jamie at all. She wasn't really my mentor discipling me so much. Like, she was pouring into us and was trying, but I had walls up. Like, she can tell you that. And I felt God saying, like, you've got to get to know this woman. Like, this is your chance. Take it or leave it, but this is your chance. And so, after that night, I really did. I was like, okay, I'm going to put down some walls and let her really speak into my life. And, then, what year was that? The year before 2020 hit. So the year before the world broke. But, my roommate, Sarah, had decided that she was going to change careers and become a flight attendant. No one here knows Sarah, but if you knew her, that's totally her personality. She's very on the move, doesn't take anything seriously, super fun, one of the funnest people you can be around, honestly. So that was right up her alley. So I was like, okay, now what? Like, again, now what? But I could honestly see how God had worked in my life, like my whole life, but definitely just even the time that I'd been in Florida, just providing and in the uncertainty, like, it was a lot easier to trust. Like, it wasn't that I was just like, oh, everything's going to be fine. But I knew, like, yes, I've got to figure this out and got to trust the Lord through it. But he continues to just make a way and provide, and he'll do that in this situation. So I was kind of like, okay, what do I do? I don't know that I can really afford our apartment that we had by myself because we're splitting all the bills. And I could have, but I was like, I don't really want to. It's a 2-bedroom apartment anyways. I don't really need that. What am I thinking? And at that time, Jamie had 6 kids that she was fostering. So,
did that include her too?
Yes. Yeah.
So 6 total.
Yeah. So I guess she had 6 kids, not fostering Max and Polly, obviously. But, and I think she had already adopted Ray and Drew. But anyways, there were 6 children in her house, and she's obviously doing it alone. And I was over there a lot because I really just kind of went all in and was like really wanting her to disciple me and pour into me. And so I obviously was talking to her about what my next step was. And she said, hey, I don't know how you feel about it, but what if you just move in here and you can, you're here a lot anyways. And, we can try to do this for a while together while I have all these kids. Like, I think it would be a big help to me, and sounds like you need help too. And I'll feed you. And I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds great. And then everything kind of went crazy with 2020. So we're literally in the home the whole time, because at that time you really couldn't even go out anywhere. So we got bunk beds and put them in her room, and it was like being in college again with your best friend. It was super fun. And so I did that for about a year. I think I lived with her for about a year, maybe not quite a year. And I mean, it was fun. It was just fun. And then Jamie decided, hey, I think what's best for my kids and my family is to move. This was still kind of when COVID was still a little uncertain. And she was a teacher at that time. And, things had changed drastically for teachers too. Like, they're doing things virtual, and not in the classroom. So things are a little uncertain. And she was like, I think what's going to be best for my family is to move closer to my family, back to Arkansas, because I don't really know what's next. My kids need family. We've just taken on adopted Ray and Drew, and they need family that they can call their own. And so here I am again, like, okay, what does that mean for me? Like, and again, praying. And I felt like, I really, honestly, it was hard because it felt like I was about to lose a mom again. And because she really did take on that figure in my life, like, she became a mother to me. And so it was like, it brought up a lot that I didn't know was there. And so I was like, oh man, do I stay here alone? Because I really hadn't built, it was hard. it was kind of hard to build community there. I was plugged into a church. Jamie was plugged into a church, but the churches were really big. So it was hard to build a community, and I was, trying small groups and just not really making a huge connection. Like, there was a lot of people my age, but they just weren't really, I don't mean this in how it's probably going to sound, but they just weren't like me. Like, I really couldn't find a community. And then 2020, no one was building community. Yeah. So I was like, okay, if she leaves, I'm really alone. Like, Sarah's gone. She'll be gone. And so I'll be here alone, starting from scratch. And that doesn't feel good. Like, I've done that before, and it's not a fun feeling. And so she's like, well, what do you think about just coming with us? Like, we love you. You're like my daughter. My family loves you. Like, what do you think about just starting over in Arkansas with family? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So, moved here, was applying for jobs here, got a job with DHS working, for DCFS. So I ended up being a caseworker and going in and removing kids and doing all that, and bought a house here. And then, obviously Jamie continued to foster when she moved here, and she got a job with Connected, foster care. And so again, I'm praying like, okay, I do feel like I'm engulfed in foster care, but not actually fostering. So what does that mean for me? Like, am I supposed to just be a support, which I'm fine with, or am I supposed to do more? So, DHS has a rule that you cannot foster kids and work for DHS because it's conflict of interest. And they're right. It is a conflict of interest. So, I was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of stuck right now because I'm working for DHS. I didn't really enjoy that job. It was a great experience for me. I think it's helped me a lot in the role that I am professionally today. But it's hard. Like, hats off to anyone that's ever worked for DHS in the department. It's a hard job. You're out at all hours of the night. No one's ever happy with you. Like, it's just a hard job. It's heavy.
You're taking kids out of their homes.
Yes, it's a heavy job. And so I wasn't super happy in that. But didn't really know what was next. And then I ended up getting a job. And again, praying through all this. Like, I know I keep kind of skipping that part, but I'm actively asking God, what's next for me? Like, you've led my steps and ordered my steps at this point. Please continue to do that. And so I ended up getting a job with, at that time they were called Mid-South, but it's ERISA Health now, as a QBHP. And what is that? It's a qualified behavioral health professional. So you work kind of alongside a therapist, and I work with children. I actually worked in the school system, and you kind of go along with a child's case plan that's in therapy and just kind of add extra support, helping them build coping skills and managing their behaviors as much as you can. So I did that, and that opened it up that, okay, now I can become an open foster home because I'm no longer working for the state. I own my own house, or had my own house, and it was a 3-bedroom house, big house, and was like, okay, I think like it's time for me to take that step. So I ended up opening my home as a foster home. And I ended up taking on 4 children right off the bat, pretty much.
Were they siblings?
No, it was 2 sibling sets. So it was 2 girls and then 2 boys. And I mean, kind of the rest is history, but that kind of opened my foster care journey, and have been doing that for a long time, and just seeing how God's worked that in my life greatly. I don't have those children, but I've had probably over 30 kids come in and out of my home. I ended up adopting my daughter, Sybil. Everybody knows her as SJ, but her actual name is Sybil. Ended up adopting her, and God has just greatly used that in my life. Like, it's really shaped who I am today. And again, it kind of goes back, like in college, that spark was there, and I never knew. I thought it would look way different than what it looks today. But even going back to my degree and working with human trafficking victims, I now, so going from ERISA, I ended up getting a job with Connected Foster Care, which is where I'm still currently employed. But we have kids all the time who are at risk or have been trafficked. Like, it just looks different. It's not your normal, what you see on TV where there's a van full of starving people and they're just, it can look like that. But honestly, kids in foster care are one of the most vulnerable populations to be trafficked because they're vulnerable. There's no one
that's really there for them.
Yeah, there's no one that's checking up on them or making sure they're okay. They're being trafficked in one way or another. So even that, like, I wanted to work with human trafficking victims, and I do. It just may not have that label. You know what I mean? But so I'm professionally in foster care and working in foster care, and then personally, an open home. And currently I have 4 children. And like I said, I've had over 30 come and go, and that's just it's been crazy. Like, it's been cool to see all the different kids and their dynamics and them getting to reunify with either their parents or a relative, or even some go to pre-adopt. And I've seen God, again, it looked like similar to my life. Like, I don't know what's next. Like, I don't know. It's kind of scary. And he just makes a way, like that. When there seems to be no way, he makes a way. And I've had to learn to trust him when it doesn't look like he's working, or it looks like he's kind of forsaken in a way. Like, I never really felt that in my childhood, even with my mom passing. And it was more, I can almost explain it like, yes, people pass away, like people die. That's just life, and it's sad, and it's
natural.
Yeah, but you can almost logically explain it, right? Yeah. And but some of the hurt that I've seen in the children that I've loved, and that has quote unquote been rescued from that by getting out of that situation, being in foster care, but then it seems like they go right back into it, or their situation gets worse. That was something that I hadn't had to be confronted with yet in my life. God, it was always someone who came through, like in my life. It was hard, but he'd always come through. Like, he always provided a way, or someone. He always provided. Like, even in the loss of my mom, it was hard, but he provided for that. Like, truly, Jamie is my mother, and he provided that role in my life. But for these children, I'm like, okay, God, why are you providing for them? Like, how are you merciful to them? Yeah. And I really struggled with that a lot. And there was one case I had, and it was a hard case. And then it ended up, the outcome was not what I thought it would be or wanted it to be. And I really did probably have a crisis of faith, if I'm being honest. Like, I was like, I don't know that I want to serve a God who allows children to suffer, and allows, not even that he allows, and we know there is suffering, but allows children to be quote unquote rescued from suffering and see a better way, and then be put right back in suffering or in worse. And I really did. I was like, I don't know. I don't know that I believe in this God. I don't know that I want to serve this God and sacrifice for this God. And I really had to wrestle through that. Like, I can't even tell you that I really got like an answer, I guess. It was more just like, okay, but God doesn't promise that we don't suffer. He doesn't promise that we'll even be safe. He doesn't promise that. He promises his presence. And either and I say that all the time. Like, I say that to my kids. I say that to parents that I work with, is he doesn't promise security. He promises his presence, and there's security in that. And so either I trust and believe that his presence is enough, or I don't. Like, and I remember, again, I don't know if she remembers this or not, but I remember riding in the car with Jamie when all this was kind of going on. And I I was angry. Like, I remember weeping and kind of pouring my heart out. I'm like, I don't know that I don't know that I believe God. Like, I don't know that I trust him. And I remember her saying, like, okay, Hannah, like, then don't. But you have to decide, like, it's time now. Like,
Okay.
you've wrestled through this, and you either choose to trust him or you don't. Like, you either choose that you believe God or you don't. And I was kind of not happy with her saying that either, because that's the hard truth about it. But it really is that, like, I have to sit there and I have to decide, is he enough? Even if, and it's easy, we say that sometimes, like, if God never did anything else for me, but was just God, that'd be enough. Well, that's great to say until you're kind of looking at it, like, if these kids' lives are horrible for the rest of their life, but he's with them in the horrible, in the suffering, is that truly enough? Like, is that truly enough? And I had to decide that. And I do believe that. Like, I do believe that there is power and mercy in his presence, and he can offer comfort, and he can provide a way. I don't know, these children, the ones I'm kind of referring to, I have no idea where they're at. I don't know that their life is awesome right now, but I don't know what God has in store for them. I also don't know that he wasn't protecting my family, like, I don't know if they would have stayed. Maybe that would have been really bad for my children and my family and my future. I don't know that. Right. And so I have to trust that he knows better. And even if they continue to suffer, he will be with them. And I believe that, or I don't.
Well, and we can only see what's going on right now. We don't know what the future is. And he does, and we just have to trust him in that, knowing that he's going to be there, even though it may not look good right away. He's there, and he is good. There's just evil in the world, and there are people that are evil in the world that are going to do harm to children, but hopefully those children are in a better place right now.
Yeah. And I do trust that he is more than just a present in suffering. Yeah. Like, I do believe that he spares us from suffering, and that he is merciful. And I do believe that he'll be that for those children. I do. Yeah. But if I never get to see that, and I don't get the promise of things like that turning out, is that enough for me? And I do believe that it is. Like, I do believe that.
Well, because you've got an emotional connection to them, because they've been in your house and you cared for them.
Yeah, for sure.
And so they're almost like your children, and giving them back or giving them away.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
because I think with Connected, for one thing, y'all prepare families to be foster families, right?
Yes, we do.
But also you try to get the biological families or the kids back with their biological families.
Yeah, reunification is always the goal. Yeah. So, you always hope for that. And obviously I've had a bunch of kids been doing this, probably almost 4 years, and I've only adopted one child. So a lot of everyone but one has gone home or gone to a relative, which is awesome. Like, I celebrate that and support that 100%. So yes, that's always the goal.
So one thing you said in church when you were sharing your story a little bit, you said whenever you decided to foster that you didn't have a mother, and these children didn't have a mother, so you wanted to kind of fill that spot for them. Is that right? Is that what you said, or how you said it?
Yeah.
I might have gotten it all wrong.
No, you're right. I said, I think God asked someone who had experienced loss as a child to take on children who'd also experienced loss. Yeah.
It sounds a lot better when you said it.
Yeah. And it's cool. Like, even that part of my story, like, yes, I'm taking on children who have lost their mother, whether that's even just temporary. I mean, that's the hope, is that there's just a time period that they can't be with their mother. But even I can say like, hey, even if your story ends and you never get to go back with your mother, foster care or adoption, or even going to a relative, I've seen that in my life where God has provided someone to fit that role. Like, even if it's not your biological mother, for whatever the circumstances that you can't continue that relationship, He's provided that for me. And I can believe and trust that He'll provide that for you too in some way, whatever that looks like. Like, that can, like I said, that can be adoption, or it can just be a figure in your life, like someone can literally just come along and fill that role.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is it I just can imagine how it is to have these children at your house and all of a sudden you have a new child come in. How do you make that easy for them? Because I know a lot of your kids that you get are probably under 5, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've had some babies, but those
Yes.
probably are a little bit easier at adapting. But
yeah, I've kind of been stuck in the, around 4 and 5 year olds for a while. I did have a teenager for a while, and I've had older kids school age 9, 10 before too. But it's funny you ask that, because I actually just got a new placement, and I feel like it helps that I don't have biological children. So the children that have been in from my home for a while understand kind of what's happening, or are used to children coming in and out. But you do kind of have to override your whole household, because everyone has specific needs, and then the dynamic changes. So your routines are changing. And I just try to be super present with each child as much as I can. Like, even this child that just came in, I can see it. Some people probably can attest to last Sunday, whoever was sitting around us. And I think I even had to take SJ out of church. But she was super emotional just because there's a lot of change, so I just try to be as present as I can, especially for that first couple months, really just trying to help them all adjust. Like, obviously the new child, it's a huge adjustment for them. Like, everything is brand new, but even for the children who are in your home and have been in your home, it's still an adjustment, because now my attention isn't as, wasn't where it was, because now I have a new child, and then the dynamic changes. Like, even something as small as where they sit in the car and have sat in the car for the past year may have to change, and so just trying to be present and patient and understanding, like, okay, we may all be off for a couple months, and there may be some emotions, but that's okay. Like, that's, again, I guess it kind of goes back to how God is for us, and we may not be able to change and make everything better, but you can be present, and is the presence enough? So I just really try to be present.
Right. So what are the ages? SJ is what?
4.
And what are the ages of your other kids in your house?
I have a almost 1-year-old. He'll be 1 at the end of this month, and then an almost 3-year-old that will be the 3 at the end of this month, and then a 5. So I have 5, 4, almost 3, almost 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's wild and crazy, but it's fun.
But you're smiling.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Better laugh than cry, I
Yeah.
guess. Just kidding. No, I love it. It's fun.
Yeah. No, you seem I would be frantic, but you seem very calm and, just walking in like, it's normal.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a system. We have I don't know if you've ever walked in church with me, but I'm pretty much on repeat, like, hold your hand, hold your hand, hold your hand. Everybody has a hand to hold.
Yeah.
Or it gets crazy, but yeah.
Yeah. Hannah, is there anything else you want to share with us?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I would just say to trust the Lord, and He really will direct your path and guide your thoughts, and rely on Him. Like, it may look messy and uncertain, but He will be present, and He will provide.
Yeah, and just look at all the ways He prepared you for what you're doing today, not really what you looked to do back when you were in Florida. And you were just looking for any job, but even at a grocery store, you couldn't get a job there.
Yeah.
Because He had a different job for you that wasn't there yet.
Yeah. It's kind of like what you read in the Old Testament, where they go and like build an altar of rocks to look back on.
Yeah.
I really feel like there's that in my life. Like I can look back and really see how God has prepared and worked in my life in areas to prepare me for the calling that I have now. And, it may change in 5 to 10 years. I don't know, but I'm really grateful for how he has been consistent and present in my life.
So do you have a favorite Bible verse?
I don't know that I have a favorite one. I definitely go back to the one in Psalms that's, I don't want to misquote it, but it's basically like he's near to the brokenhearted and binds up the crushed in spirit. Like I think about that one a lot, and I see a lot of people who are crushed in spirit and have a broken heart and just believing and trusting that he'll do that for them.
Thank you for joining us today. New episodes release every Wednesday, so be sure to subscribe and get notified when a new episode is available. You can listen on the Journey to Salvation website, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. So, where are you on your journey to salvation?